Welcome to another Parasha and mental health reflection for the Tazria of Tazria. Tsaras, translated as leprosy, some skin disease that, according to our tradition, came about through the sin of speaking Lashon Hara. Lashon Hara is speaking negatively about the person, even if it's true. Motzi Shemra, taking out and making a bad name for someone, is when we're deceitful in the slander and the words we use. The very first negative comment in the Chumash is not good to be alone. And really from that moment onwards, the Torah is full of ideas and commandments that demonstrate to us the absolute centrality of not being alone, whether it's marriage or love your neighbor as yourself. Be loving to the stranger. Be attentive to the widow, the orphan, the poor. We're meant to live in societies. We're not Buddhists that live in isolation on a mountain, taking vows of silence, never to communicate. So being around people and communities is absolutely central to the Jewish concept of life. Life is noble, life is meaningful, life is holy or sacred when we surround ourselves with other people. In fact, when the rabbis interpret the biblical command to emulate the ways of God, it's how can we emulate the ways of an all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving being? Well, we can look at the way the Torah describes what God does and we can copy, and the examples are ones where we engage with other people. Just like he is merciful, so we should be merciful to others. Just like he visits the sick, we too should visit the sick. He clothes the naked, we too should provide clothing and dignity for others. All of the things that God does, that we are meant to emulate, demonstrates the centrality of community and friendship or kinship. Which makes the law in this week's Tazria the law where the person afflicted with leprosy, with Tsaras, has to leave the camp and remain isolated until the period of his impurity is past. If this was purely an issue of being contagious, well, we've all lived through the pandemic. We understand what that means and why you have to isolate at times. But I think there's more to it than that. If we connect the idea that this disease came about through gossip and slander, meaning that the person corrupted all that is pure and holy in living with other people. The person demonstrated an inability to appreciate the beauty of others in our life by speaking negatively, by spreading gossip, by spreading hatred rather than love. Then such a person needs to accept their punishment and remain isolated so they can be rehabilitated to understand the importance of society. Sometimes we need to take away the gift that society and life gives us and become fixed, rehabilitated, and have a chance to contemplate all that was truly precious and what is now missing in our lives. So let's learn to value that gift of life, use our power of speech and everything about us to create and strengthen bonds of friendship, and God forbid, never to be isolated and alone. Shabbat Shalom.